Welcome back to Universe. I'm Andrew, and today I'm playing Marvel Champions. This is the second scenario of the NeXt Evolution campaign. We're playing against the Marauders again, but this time they gotta get away. They've captured Hope Summers, and they're trying to escape with her. So in scenario 1, I played with one of the characters who came in the campaign box, which is Domino. This time I'm playing with the other character in the campaign box, which is Cable. And just as I did with Domino and her precon, I'm playing with Cable and his pre-constructed deck today to see how that fares. I can start by reading the flavor text, which I kind of forgot about last time. It says you turned your back on the Marauders' attack and saved many Morlock lives, but in their retreat, the Marauders captured Hope Summers. You get the feeling that she was the real reason for the attack. You pursue the Marauders to an abandoned construction site on the surface. You crash their attempt to hand Hope over to the Nasty Boys, known henchmen of the mutant mastermind Mr. Sinister. The Marauder holding Hope captive tries to escape, while the combined forces of the Nasty Boys and the other Marauders cover their retreat. So there are 7 Marauders in the Marauders set, and in the first scenario you use 3 of them, and in this scenario we use 1 other one. And the scenario itself kind of turns the one Marauder you do use into a full-on villain by giving them a second stage using this Hope's Captive card. So there's a lot of stuff on the table, more than a normal Marvel Champions setup. There's a lot of like campaign rules and special stuff, and some of it's just due to Cable. So normally we would have our hero starting out in alter ego form, or starting hand of, in this case, 6 cards, and we'd have a villain and a main scheme. But in this case, we also have this environment card. So this is a card I earned from the previous scenario by completing a campaign-based player side scheme like this one here. I was able to defeat the Assemble the Team side scheme, which gave me this Assemble the Team environment card. The campaign rule says I could start with it, so I'm going to be able to search for an ally. I've also got a new second player side scheme. I got to choose. I've just been choosing them kind of like in order that they're listed, but I'm going to try to establish a safe house this time. It's got 4 threat on it because I'm playing solo. The Marauder that I'm playing with as the villain here is Chimera. I chose her because I think she's kind of cool. I don't know much about her, but I've always thought she was cool. I'm pretty sure, I don't know if she's in the cartoon, but she's shown up in some comics. She's got a kind of Green Lantern vibe, which I like. When she attacks, she's either going to get +2 attack to her 1, making it a 3, or unless I spend a mental resource. So that's kind of annoying. The scenario, gotta get away, is making Chimera into Hope's captor. I will say the Chimera has to be chosen from the Marauders that I didn't defeat previously, I guess probably for thematic reasons. I don't think I fought Chimera. I didn't go back and look, and I didn't write it down. So hopefully I'm not cheating by choosing the same Marauder again, but I don't think I played against Chimera last time. Hope's captor basically says that when she attacks, if there's another Marauder in play, which currently there is for other reasons, she will thwart, or she will scheme instead of attacking. So she basically schemes as though I were in alter ego form if there's another Marauder out to kind of help her, cover her as she tries to escape. She's got to get away with her captive Hope. Also, if she would be defeated, this instead her hit points are reset and this card flips, and it basically gives her 6 more hit points on her second stage, and says that same ability that she will scheme instead of attack if there's another Marauder. It also gives her +1 scheme and +1 attack, and it forces an advance on the main scheme from Gotta Get Away to the next one. Basically, things become more desperate for the Marauders as Chimera gets closer to defeat. They really don't want Hope to be rescued. So we're starting with Gotta Get Away. This is our setup information. Basically, here's the information that said I needed to put a Marauder into play. Oh no, that's a random Marauder villain. I didn't make it random. I chose Chimera. And then attach Hope's captor. And then on this side, it says put a Marauder minion into play. And I got to choose it, and I chose Malice, which is one of the special campaign. It's not part of the Marauder set. It's actually a campaign card. It is a Marauder, though. And she was added because the campaign rules tell me that for each of these player side schemes that I selected from the campaign, there's a specific encounter card that's supposed to be added. And I actually didn't do that in the first scenario. I missed that. Fortunately, it's just 1 more encounter card in the encounter deck, so it's reasonably likely that I wouldn't have drawn it anyway. But here we're starting with Malice. I chose her because she just got 1 hit point, and she got Surge, which isn't relevant because she's being put into play, not revealed. And hopefully I can just deal with that 1 hit point pretty easily. Although she does have a 1 defeated ability, so we will see how that works. Gotta Get Away also makes it so that minions, or all Marauder minions, are steady, which means they have to be stunned and confused twice for it to kick in. Does not apply to the villain because I'm not playing on expert. If this stage is completed, I lose. So I've got only 8 threat to deal with, and it's starting with 1. Now, so normally if you see 2 schemes, you would think you can let it advance once. In this case, that's not the case. If Chimera gets away with this scheme, we lose the game. If I defeat her once, Hope's Captive will cause this to advance to side B, which basically says the same stuff as, or Gotta Get Away. Escaping with Hope allows us to win the game by defeating Chimera. So kind of confusing. Basically, we need to beat Chimera once while not letting her get away. Then Gotta Get Away will be replaced by Escaping with Hope, and we have to defeat Chimera again with +6 hit points. She is starting out as tough, and that is because of the campaign rules. Again, because I have this team assembled, the villain gets to be tough, but I think that's worth it because this is going to get me a 3-cost ally for free. Because I saved 2 Morlocks in the previous scenario, I get to draw 2, or I get to search my deck for 2 cards to add to my starting hand, which is why I have 8 cards instead of 6. And we can take a look at my character, Nathan Summers. For recover value, he's a mutant and a soldier. I can include player side schemes from any aspect in my deck. So these player side schemes I was talking about are from the campaign, but there are player side schemes that can be included in players' decks. And Cable's shtick is that he likes to play with them. That first ability there, though, is only going to apply during deck construction, so that's all taken care of, especially since I'm playing with a precon. His Soldier X ability lets me search for a player side scheme and put it into play. So that's this last card here. I chose Technovirus Purge to start in play. This is a side scheme that will let Cable put his Technovirus into check to let his psionic powers flourish. So only Cable can remove threat from this. It starts with 5, and when it is in the victory display, he gets psionic and +1 thwart attack and defense. And he has 2s in each of those stats, so they would become 3s if I'm able to deal with this Technovirus Purge. And he has the response in hero form after he defeats a player, any side scheme. After he defeats a side scheme, ready him once per phase. So I like to get to the game as quick as possible, but I felt like there's a lot to explain here, especially if you're not Marvel Champions expert, or even if you're just not familiar with this particular scenario in this campaign, because yeah, there's a lot more in play than usual, and I've got a weird number of cards on my starting hand. So thanks for sticking with me. I can go ahead and get started. And I had made a plan, and then I realized my plan only has a 1/3 chance of working, because I was thinking I was going to play Caliban, and he costs 3, which is fine. He's 1 thwart, 2 attack, 3 health. And his response is after he enters play, discard cards from the top of your deck until an X Factor, X Force, or X-Men ally is discarded and add it to your hand. Sounds great. You get to add a card to your hand. And then I realized there are only 3 allies in my deck, and 2 of them I had plans for, because, like, for example, this Team Assemble is going to let me go search up one of them. So if I hit the wrong one of the 3, like there's only 1 correct one. My deck currently contains, if you're familiar with the precon, you would know that the allies in this deck is actually kind of light for a leadership deck, but I've got Caliban, I have Deathlock in my hand, and the deck also contains Deadpool and Phantomex. And I have plans for Phantomex and Deadpool, so I really want Caliban's ability to reveal Sunspot, and if it hits either of the other 2, my plan is messed up. And I don't know if I can gamble on the 1 in 3. The thing is, what's really messing me up here is Malice, even though I chose her. When she's defeated, she's attached to a non-psionic ally with the highest cost. The attached ally becomes basically an enemy with scheme and thwart equal to their thwart, or basically the enemy becomes possessed, and the ally becomes my enemy, and they work against me. So I don't want to defeat Malice while I have a non-psionic ally in play. My plan would work if I use Team Assembled to go get Deadpool right off the bat, but then when I defeat Malice, I will have a non-psionic ally, because Deadpool's not psionic. He will become possessed, and he'll be fighting against me. Caliban is psionic, so he's immune to Malice. You know what? I think I'm just going to go for it. It's 1 in 3, and if it doesn't work, I'll have to change my plan, I guess. All right, so I'm going to pay so he costs 3, so I need to pay 3 resources worth of cards from my hand. Sidearm, like most cards, is a single resource in the bottom left corner there. In this case, it is a red strength icon. Type doesn't matter, just going to be 1 there. And then I'll also pay with the power of the mind, which only has a single icon. That's a blue mental resource, but it says it's doubled if it's generating resources for a psionic card, and Caliban is psionic. So that's 2 of the 3, and we put Caliban into play. And here we go. We'll give it a final shuffle to make sure we're legit here. And I really want to see Sunspot coming off the top, not Deadpool or Phantom X. I guess if it's Deadpool, that might be okay, just not preferred. All right. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 cards. That's a lot of cards to lose into my discard pile, but I did get Sunspot. All right, so we can look at Sunspot briefly, although I'm just going to be using him to pay for something else. I'm going to pay that with his 1 energy resource, and whatever else, pay another resource to play Uncanny X-Force, a 2-cost team upgrade that, as long as each of my allies is an X-Force member, the allies get +1 thwart and take 1 less consequential damage while thwarting side schemes. So now we've got Uncanny X-Force out, paid for by those. And I'm also going to play Call for Backup, paying with Deathlock. And this is a player side scheme from the deck here. And it says, when defeated, each player may search their deck and discard pile for an ally and put it into play. So that's what we want to do. It's got 3 per player threat on it. So I'll put 3 there. And I'm going to go ahead and thwart that Call for Backup side scheme with Caliban. Normally he would take 1 damage because of that little damage icon there under the thwart. And normally he would remove 1 threat. But again, because of Uncanny X-Force, he's going to be thwarting for 2, and he won't take that consequential damage because he's thwarting a side scheme. So the 3 goes down to 1. Once per turn, I can change between my alter ego and hero form. So I'm going to change from Nathan Summers into Cable and use my basic power to also thwart for 2, which is slightly overdoing it, but I want to finish off this Call for Backup, which is now defeated. It's got a victory 0, which means it's moving to the victory display rather than the discard pile, which in this case just means I won't be able to use it again as I cycle through my deck. Although in the case of Technovirus Purge, it actually has an ability from the victory display. But anyway, I'm going to now search my deck and discard pile for an ally and put it into play. And as I mentioned before, we're going to get Phantom X. He costs 4, so it's nice getting him out for free. 1 thwart, 1 attack. Doesn't sound impressive. 3 health, kind of normal. But after he enters play, search your deck and discard pile for Eva and put it into play. I actually mulliganed away Eva at the beginning of the game off camera before we started. So Eva's in my discard pile, and this comes out for free. If Phantom X is not in play, discard this. So they are linked together. And as an action, Eva can be exhausted to remove a threat from a scheme, deal a damage to an enemy, or heal 1 damage from Phantom X. So we're going to get Eva out and Phantom X out, and Call for Backup's going to the victory display. I'm going to use Eva to deal 1 damage to an enemy, and that enemy is going to be Malice. When defeated, she will possess one of my non-psionic allies, but Caliban and Phantom X are both psionic. Oh, also, Cable, after he defeats a side scheme, he readies once per round, so he's back up. And my deck should be shuffled here, but I'm actually going to go ahead and use the Team Assembled. So Team Assembled starts with 1 counter on it, and I can remove it to have each player search for an ally. So before I shuffle my deck, I'll just go ahead and grab Deadpool. And he's a 3-cost, 2 thwart, 2 attack. I guess if I had hit Deadpool off Caliban, I would have had to spend Deadpool as a resource to do my plan here, and then I would be using this Team Assembled card to get Sunspot instead. If I had milled Phantom X, though, things would be a little rough because I think he's pretty useful. Eva taking out Malice, and then just having him in the future. Plus the team, yeah, well, anyway. So Deadpool's abilities, when he would be defeated by consequential damage, heal 3 from him, and add an acceleration token to the main scheme. So things get a little bit scarier, but he sticks around. He does not stick around if he is defeated by blocking though. So now we've got another ally who can now thwart for 3. This is technically still in play, just without its counter, but I'm just going to move it off to the side so it doesn't really do anything anymore. Also going to use Phantom X to thwart established safe house. So again, because of Uncanny X-Force, he's going to thwart for 2 instead of 1. And he does not take any consequential damage because it is a side scheme. And then I guess Deadpool can also thwart established safe house. Only Cable can deal with the Technovirus purge, so they can't really help with that. But we'll establish the safe house, and now this is completed. When defeated, flip this card and put a safe house established into play. And that would be this one, another environment card like the team assembled we just moved off camera. It has 1 safe house counter on it, and I can remove that counter to have the first player put the safe house support into play. So I'm going to do that right now. Remove the counter. This is still in play, but I'm going to move it off camera and grab the safe house support. This is from the campaign set. Oh, it's an alter ego action? Oh no. Oh no, I didn't know that was an alter ego action. I had planned out all of this except for I missed that. Well, I mean, I guess that's okay. It's not what I had planned. Darn. It's a bit of a waste. Well, okay, because I got 1 card left in my hand, and it's actually a card that I chose to add to my hand as a campaign reward for saving Morlocks. And I was planning to play it off of this card that I was going to draw, because I can choose to heal 2 damage from my identity or draw a card. I was going to play this card, Frenemies, that I'd chosen specifically. Yeah, that would have, if I milled Deadpool with Caliban, that would have made me unable to play Frenemies as well. It looks like I'm going to be ending my turn with a card in hand, which I don't like to do, because I cannot use Safe House because I'm not in alter ego form, because I already changed from alter ego into hero form this turn. But I got the Safe House out. The question is, what do I do with Cable? I think I'm going to thwart with him. Just he thwarts for 2, and we'll take Technovirus Purge from 5 down to 3. And I think that's all I can do, so I will end my turn by readying all of my cards and drawing up to my hand size. In hero form, it's only 5 cards instead of 6. I already had a card, so I only draw 4 to fill up my hand. The main scheme gets 1 threat per player. Chimera will activate against me. I'm in hero form, so she will activate by attacking. Either she's going to get +2 attack, or I have to spend a mental resource due to her ability. Do I just want to give up an ally, perhaps Caliban, by blocking with them? I could just have Cable take the damage. She's got 12 starting hit points. All right, I think I'm actually going to pay the resource, pay the mental resource so she doesn't get +2, but I'm just going to let her hit Cable. So she's going to do 1 damage plus a boost. The boost is the bottom right corner. The number of red icons there is 2, so it's going to hit him for 3 from 12 down to 9. And then this card has no other effect than to go to the villain discard pile. And then I get an encounter card for the villain phase, and that is, Grey Crow, a Marauder. So he has Retaliate 1. Whenever he gets attacked, he deals 1 damage in return if he survives that attack. 1 scheme, 4 health, 1 attack, and when he attacks you or an ally, choose to discard your highest cost card, or he gets +X attack where X is your highest cost card. Currently with both Phantom X and Safe House, he will be attacking for 5 unless I discard one of those cards from play. That is generally unpleasant. So I would like to defeat him, but that's it for the villain phase. So now I get to play my turn. I think I'm going to attack with Cable, attack Grey Crow. It's going to do 2 damage to him because of Cable's 2 attack value. I'm going to use Eva to deal 1 damage to Chimera, and that's going to remove her tough status. Tough is a status that whenever she would take any damage, all of it is prevented, but then she loses tough. So being able to do 1 damage to get rid of the tough is great. I think I'm going to have Caliban attack. His attack value is 2, so he can finish off Grey Crow. And because Grey Crow is being defeated, he doesn't retaliate. But I did forget to make Cable take 1 damage when he attacked Grey Crow. He took the retaliate damage. Then I'm going to play the frenemies that I saved, paying with Mind Scan, unfortunately. Well, actually, Mind Scan's fine. I'm going to be paying with Telekinetic Blast, which actually disappoints me slightly. But I'd notice I don't have any more Telekinetic Blasts in my discard pile, so I'm thinking there's probably at least 1 left in my deck. Telekinetic Blast is a card that does 6 damage plus 1 more for every enemy, for every side scheme in the victory display. So Call for Backup is currently in the victory display, and I'm about to finish off this Technovirus Purge. So that'll be a second one. So the Telekinetic Blast will do 8 damage already. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, not this one, not this turn, but hopefully there's another copy or two in my deck. Anyway, Frenemies is a team-up card, Cable and Deadpool. That was a really fun comic run. In case anyone's unfamiliar, Cable and Deadpool was a very enjoyable series. I don't know if they revisited that at any point, but I think it's around 2004, somewhere around there is when it was going on. And I enjoyed that one. It's a hero action, so I have to play it in hero form, which I am, and it's going to deal damage to Cable and Deadpool each. So Deadpool's got 1 damage, Cable's down to 7. And I get to remove 3 threat from a scheme and 3 from a different scheme. Thematically, Deadpool is helping, but mechanically, this counts as Cable being the one to remove the threat, so Technovirus Purge will allow it. So I guess they're a tight bond of friendship. Deadpool can help Cable get rid of his Technovirus. So this goes to the victory display, and again, while it's in the victory display, Cable will get +1 to each of his basic powers. And then after he defeats the side scheme, he gets to ready. So Frenemies worked well there. Now his stats are 3s. Oh, and Frenemies removes 3 threat from a scheme and 3 from a different scheme. So I also get to take those 2 off of Gotta Get Away, which is actually slightly better than if I had played it first round, because there was only 1 threat there for me to remove. Oh no, it's the beginning of the end. One of my tokens got a little bit of peeling on it. I'm going to need some component upgrades at some point. But I actually really like these cardboard tokens printed to look comic booky and fit in with the general theme. So, I could save this Telekinetic Blast again. I don't love doing that. No, I'm not going to. I'm going to spend it to play Established Perimeter, which I'm not even too thrilled about. But because some of his cards count how many cards are in the victory display or how many side schemes, having another easy to defeat victory display side scheme will be nice. It's just 2. And when defeated, Cable will become tough. So we're going to put that out with the 2 threat on it. Although I think I'm just going to have somebody thwart it right away. Let's have it be Phantom X. Again, X-Force means he does not take consequential damage and his thwarting for 2 instead of 1. So this is defeated. It goes to the victory display and Cable becomes tough. And then Deadpool, I'm going to attack, so I'll take consequential damage and deal 2 to Chimera. She goes down to 9 from her starting value of 11. I'm going to also attack with Cable for 3. That'll put her down to 6. And then I'm going to change into alter ego form. He's still exhausted. And I'm going to use Safe House, I think just to heal 2. I could draw a card, but I wouldn't have much to do with it. I thought about waiting until I was in alter ego form to play the Established Perimeter. And I could have drawn a card and then paid for Established Perimeter with the card I drew in order to save Telekinetic Blast. But that's at the cost of drawing another new different card and also not gaining that 2 health. I don't know. I'm going to keep it like that. And end my turn. Readying all my cards, drawing up to my hand size, and because I'm in alter ego form, that is a hand size of 6. My deck's getting very small, only 3 cards left. Did we get another Telekinetic Blast? Did get 1 Telekinetic Blast, although it would do 9 damage now, and she's only at 6. All right, 1 threat is added to the main scheme in the villain phase. She will activate. Oh, Caliban didn't take Retaliate, but he should have taken consequential damage. I don't think I'm going to pay the resource this time. Oh, no, she's not attacking anyway. She's going to scheme because I'm in alter ego form. So she's going to try to get away. She's going to scheme for 1 plus the boost. The boost is 1, so we add 2, bringing it up to 3 out of 8. So not too worried about that. And then I get an encounter card, which is Vanisher, another Marauder. Oh, this is also another one of the encounter set. Or rather, the campaign card. Another campaign card. Oh, he has Surge, too. Vanisher is a teleporter. Return the support you control with the highest cost to your hand. Oh no. Safe House is a support card, and so it's going into my hand. He teleported me away from my Safe House. Well, Safe House was going to add a card to my hand, and now it isn't a card in my hand. So very similar to just having it in play because I don't know how many more times I'll be using it this game anyway. He does have 3 health though, and the surge ability means I have to draw again. So I'm going to draw another encounter card. This is a heavy armament. It's a weapon attachment. Gives +2 attack to the enemy with the highest attack. This is a tie between those two. And the attached enemy gets retaliate 2. So if we attack them and don't defeat them, they deal 2 damage back. After you attack the attached enemy, you can spend 2 resources of the same type to discard it. All right. Well, Cable with his increased attack value can one-shot Vanisher. So I'm just going to put the heavy armament on him. Its highest attack value is a tie between Vanisher and Chimera. It said enemy, not minion or villain. So they're both enemies. They have the same attack value. So I'll just choose. And I think that's fine. I think it won't matter because I'll just take out Vanisher with 1 hit, regardless of any armaments he has. And that's the end of the villain phase. I was going to use the safe house to draw a card, but now I just have it as a card in my hand anyway. So I may as well switch into hero form. I could recover for 4, but I don't think I'm going to be doing that, especially since we're tough already. He would get to ready if I use him to defeat a side scheme. Currently, there are no side schemes, and I don't have a player side scheme in my hand. So I guess we're not doing that, which means I may as well attack with him and take out Vanisher. 3. All right, let's see how this goes. I'm going to use Deadpool to attack. It's going to do 2 damage to Chimera, putting her down to 4. And I think we're going to do an attack with... Oh, that also that defeats Deadpool with consequential damage, but that triggers his ability to remove all damage from him and add an acceleration token to the main scheme, which means during the start of the villain phase when it would get 1 threat per player, instead gets that much +1 more, which is a little bit dangerous, but we do still have Deadpool. Caliban will also attack for 2, taking the 2nd consequential damage and putting Chimera down to 2. We will attack with Phantomax. He takes 1 consequential damage and puts her down to 1. And I'll use Eva to deal 1 damage to her and put her down to 0, which triggers the forced interrupt on Hope's captor. When the villain would be defeated, reset the attached villain's hit points to the printed value and flip this. And this also gives her +6 more. So instead of being at 11, she's going to be at 17. And then that 2nd ability says we advance the main scheme to 2A. Can't be canceled. So this is gone. We go to here, which I believe means this goes away. It says escaping with hope. Having taken a pounding, the Marauders redouble their efforts to escape with their captive. Each player searches the encounter deck and discard for a Marauder minion and puts it into play. Give each Marauder enemy tough. All right, so I'm gonna have to see which Marauder I want. Oh, you know what? Let's just choose Vanisher. Again, it's not revealing him, it's just putting him into play. Malice was a little bit annoying because she could possess Deadpool, but Vanisher's Rim Revealed ability won't apply being put into play, and it's just 3 hit points. So I think that'll be fine. And then this becomes Escaping with Hope, which now it's 9. If it hits 9, I lose. Currently, it starts with 1, although it does go up by 2 per player, and because of Deadpool, that's going to be 3 instead. But right now it's just 1. If the villain is defeated, we win. If the stage is completed, we lose. So that'll go here. And that last ability here, when the villain would attack you, if a Marauder is engaged with you, the villain schemes instead. So again, that's the same as before, but now she's got +1 scheme and +1 attack. So her base stats are 2 and 2, and she's still got that attack trigger that I have to pay a mental or she gets an extra 2. Chimera and Vanisher are both tough, but it is still my turn. That tough is annoying though, because I was going to hit her with this telekinetic blast. And now I've used up all my stuff. And Vanisher being out means she will scheme. It's actually pretty rough, because I've got pretty much nothing to do here. Nothing like great, nothing proactive. That's a bummer. Those tough statuses are really messing me up, because I don't want to waste a telekinetic blast just to get rid of tough. So I'm not. I'm going to play Scimitar. So weapon restricted means I can only have 2 because Cable's got 2 hands. Don't ignore the fact that he's holding a giant gun with 2 hands here. He has room for this Scimitar, and after I play another psionic card, I can exhaust it to deal 2 damage to an enemy. So I'm going to pay for that with Power of the Mind, because Scimitar is also a psionic card, so Power of the Mind makes 2 resources. I'll also play a pretty late Greymulkin, which is his location, his home base. If not this safe house, it would be Greymulkin, which can be exhausted for an energy resource, and after a side scheme is defeated, it can become readied. Again, we're kind of out of side schemes here, but theoretically, at least it's 1 resource for next turn. And then I'm going to pay for that with these 2, the safe house and forced amnesia, saving a telekinetic blast and this mind scan, which removes threat plus 3 plus the number of victory point or victory display cards. So this would remove 6 threat from a scheme, which is nice because it's about to get a bunch more threat. So I'm going to end my turn and ready my cards. Draw my hand, which is rough here because we got 2. Draw up to 5, which is exactly emptying my deck, which means my discard pile is reshuffled to form my new deck. But as a penalty for going through my whole deck, thanks to Caliban for some help there early on, I'm going to get an extra encounter card for that phase of that step of the villain phase. Escaping with Hope. So the main scheme is going to get 2 threat per player plus 1 from Deadpool, putting it up to 4. I could just lose here, actually. She could just escape. Chimera could be gone with all hope, because now she's going to scheme rather than attack because another Marauder is running interference for her. She's going to scheme for 2, 1 plus 1 because of Hope's captor. So 2 plus a boost of 1. Unfortunately, just that 1 there is going to be 3. And that puts it up to 7 out of 9. And then I get 2 encounter cards. Oh, Banisher also attacks. He's going to attack for 1, which is really annoying because I'm tough. But I'm just going to have to let it hit Cable. I don't want to exhaust one of my allies to defend a 1-point attack. So we'll take 1 damage on Cable, losing tough. And I have to resolve 2 encounter cards. If either of them adds threat, that's probably going to be it. We get another Marauder, Vertigo, 4 health. She has Guard. Guard means I cannot attack Chimera as long as Vertigo is out. I don't think any of these other effects add Guard. Oh, this, I forgot. Escaping with Hope. This does say each Marauder minion gains Guard and Steady. So even Vanisher basically has Guard because of that. So I can't attack Chimera as long as Guard, or as long as Vertigo or Vanisher are out. And Vertigo says when she attacks, I can stun one of my characters or give her +2 attack. So we'll see if that comes up. And another Marauder. Oh, no, this is a nasty boy. We got Ramrod. 1 scheme to attack, 4 health, retaliate, teamwork with nasty boys, which means if there were any other nasty boys out right now, they would all activate, including Ramrod, which I messed up in a previous video. But he doesn't activate now because there's no teammates for him. But his attacks are piercing, which means they ignore tough. Well, I don't have any tough currently. And because he's not a Marauder, I can ignore him in terms of going after Chimera. This is looking bad, though. It's now my turn, but Escaping with Hope is up to 7 threat. Well, I mean, if I can mind scan, that's 6. So that'll put Escaping with Hope down to 1. So if I can mind scan this down to 1 and defeat Vanisher and Vertigo, then Chimera will attack, not scheme, and that's probably okay. I don't have to win necessarily. I need to get this down to as low as I can, because remember, it's going to go up by 3. So if I get this low, mind scan is good enough, and then defeat Vanisher and Vertigo so that Chimera attacks rather than schemes. Let's see how we can do. But I don't have the resources to play Telekinetic Blast and Mind Scan. I can play 1, not both. Am I just saving Telekinetic Blast again? Well, if I don't win, I have to Mind Scan. But if I can beat Chimera, I don't have to. Telekinetic Blast does 9, which would put her at 8. I don't think I can do 8 damage plus 7 more plus 1 to get rid of tough. I can do 2, 4, 5, 7, 9. Wait, 1 to get rid of tough. Then 1, 2, 3. Then 2, 4. Well, she's tough too, though. Yeah, it looks like I'm still not using this Telekinetic Blast. Alright, so we're going to Eva to deal damage again. We're going to hit that tough off Vanisher. And then Cable with his +1 from the Technovirus Purge going to attack for 3 to take out Vanisher again. Caliban will attack Vertigo for 2. That's his third consequential damage, so he's defeated by consequential damage. She takes 2 damage. Deadpool will attack for 2 also against Vertigo to finish her off. So the minions, or the Marauder minions, are cleared out. We still have Ramrod, but I'm just going to ignore him. And then I think I needed to go ahead and play Mind Scan because I can't beat Chimera this turn. I'm going to pay 2. You know what? I was gonna pay with this plasma rifle. It's restricted, so that's his second weapon alongside the scimitar. As a hero action, I can exhaust it and spend an energy to deal damage to an enemy for each side scheme in the victory display, which is currently 3, maximum of 4. It has ranged, which means it ignores retaliate. I don't think I'm going to be able to afford to use it this turn, but I think I am going to play it. I was going to play telekinetic force field to avoid some damage. This is an upgrade, so we'd play it, and then during the villain phase, or whenever a friendly character would take damage, I can discard the force field to prevent it all. But I think I'm just going to use Cable's 9 health and assume that Chimera is not going to be able to finish him off. And I'm not going to play the force field. I'm going to go for damage and try to do as much damage as I can. So I'm going to pay with the force field alongside this card, Professor. That pays for the 2 resources for Mind Scan, which removes 3 threat from a scheme, plus 1 for each side scheme in the victory display. So it's going to take 6 off Escaping with Hope, which hopefully resets it to a level where I won't just lose next turn, or during the villain phase rather. And because I played a psionic card, Mind Scan, that triggers Scimitar. After I play another psionic card, exhaust this to deal 2 to an enemy. I could put the damage on Ramrod, or I could use that to knock off Tough. There are, I mean, I don't know what's in that villain deck, but she could just regain the Tough. Whereas if I don't get rid of the Tough and she would gain it again, then it's just ignored. But I also don't think the 2 damage on Ramrod is relevant because I'm not really going to be defeating him. So I'm just going to knock off Tough and hope she doesn't regain it. And then I will play that plasma rifle, paying with my last card, Telekinetic Blast. Maybe I should just be saving these cards. I hate saving cards. I don't think so. I'm going to pay with Telekinetic Blast, and I'm going to pay the second energy from Greymulkin. And I can't use it because I'm out of energy, out of resources. Did I not use Phantom X yet? I thought I'd used Phantom X, but I'm gonna have him knock off the Tough then, and we're gonna do 2 damage with the Scimitar. Do slightly out of order. I thought I'd use Phantom X, but there he is ready, and I don't think I did. I did Eva for the Tough on Vanisher, and then Deadpool and Caliban each did 2 to Vertigo. Cabled one-shotted Vanisher. So, alright, so Phantom X had not been used. That will end my turn. We'll ready and draw 5. I could change to alter ego form, but nope, just too risky to let her scheme. Because if this goes up by 3, it'll be at 4. Then she schemes for a base of 2, which is 6. And if I hit a boost of 3 or 4, I know for sure 3s regularly appear, and 4s could appear in some villain decks, some scenarios. I don't know if there's one in here, but a 3 would do it, and I would just lose the game. So we will add the 3. She will attack, and I'm just going to let her attack Cable. Just let her hit. Oh, but she's going to be hitting for 4 plus a boost. Ramrod's also going to be attacking. All right, I am going to pay in a mental resource to reduce her attack by 2, and so she's attacking for 2 plus the boost of 3. Yep, that would have, if I let her scheme, that would have lost me the game. So she's hitting for 5, which is going to put Cable down to 4. Man, I don't know if I can do 15 damage to her. My health's getting really low. All right, so that was just the boost. Then Ramrod attacks for 2, and I think I'm just going to let Cable take that as well. Am I regretting the force field? He's down to 2. I might have to just recover, but that's a very risky move if I'm going to let her escape with hope. All right, then we get an encounter card as well, which is Bound by Business. Discard cards from the encounter deck until a Marauder comes out. All right, so another way to find a Marauder here. A lot of Marauders have already come out. So there's Arclight, 5 health, and it's guard because of this scheme. So these are discarded, and we get Arclight. 1/1 retaliate. When she attacks, she gets +2 unless I let her confuse somebody, which means she might just attack for 1, but it doesn't matter. She has guard. I have to get rid of her, which is looking pretty rough. Might have to let Phantom X block Man, I want to go to alter ego form. Are there any 4s in the discard pile? There are not. That doesn't mean there aren't any in the deck. I can do a bunch of damage, but not enough of damage. And now I'm wondering if I do have to get rid of Ramrod. All right, I'm not thrilled by this. I have a Frenemies again, but there's only 1 scheme, so I can't remove 6 threat, and I'd have to damage Cable and Deadpool with it. So I'm going to spend it to play Mission Planning, along with another copy of Uncanny X-Force. This makes it so that my allies don't take consequential damage. It's fine. So Deadpool can thwart for 3 with the X-Force bonus. Take 3 off that. He would take consequential damage because it's not a side scheme, but Mission Planning means he doesn't. Phantom X is going to attack, I think. He can thwart for 2 or attack for 1. All right, I'm going to have him attack Ramrod for 1. And he doesn't take consequential damage. Cable is going to attack Ramrod to finish him off. I'm going to use Plasma Rifle with the energy resource from Greymalkin to deal damage equal to the number of victory display side schemes, which is 3 damage to Arclight. I'm going to use Eva to remove 1 threat from a scheme and bring this down to 0. And I'm going to play Precognition. Look at the top X cards of the encounter deck, where X is the number of side schemes, which is 3. I can discard 1 and put the rest back. So I don't love this card, but it just kind of worked out that way. So I'm going to look at these 3, discard 1, put them back in any order. All right, so Hairbag is a nasty boy. He's got Teamwork, and Surge. So I got rid of Ramrod, so the Teamwork's not a big deal. The Surge is a big deal, because if he comes out as an encounter card, he get another one. Boost, after his activation, shuffle him into the encounter deck. I don't care about that. So he's just a boost for 2. Shadows of the Past would be rough. So I don't even want to think about what that would entail. That's another boost for 2. And the Senator's Support is also a boost for 2. So basically I get to decide what's going to be the boost and what's going to be the encounter card and which one do I want to get rid of. Let's see. All right, I'm going to discard Shadows of the Past. Not because it's off, I could just make it the boost, but instead I'm going to make Hairbag the boost, because shuffling him back into the deck actually makes the deck a little bit bigger. Probably won't matter, but it makes it less likely that the encounter deck runs out, kind of. And then I want this to be the encounter card, because I don't think it will affect me very much. It can put an attachment into play, only if I defeat it though. Anyway, I don't think it'll hurt me. So I'm going to... stack them like this. So this will be the boost card, and this will be the encounter card. Then, after I play the Psionic card, I can exhaust Scimitar to deal 2 damage, and that will go to Arclight and finish her off. Now I'm out of stuff, but I've cleared off everything that can be cleared, other than just winning the game. Can I go to Alter Ego form for an extra card, and to avoid damage? I think so, because it's on nothing. It's going to go up by 3. She will scheme for 2. That's 5. But unless I hit a 4, I don't lose. And I know there's not a 4 because I just put a 2 on top because I am a precog. All right. So going to Alter Ego. Draw 6 cards. All right. Maybe this Precognition card is better than I thought. Having it cost 0 is nice too. I still don't love it, but just in a super tight spot like this, knowing what the boost is going to be is nice. And of course I get to trigger Scimitar off of it. All right, so it goes up by 3. She will scheme for 2 plus 2, which is 4, and then it shuffles in. You know what? I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna pretend I was smarter. Let's discard Hairbag and put Shadows of the Past on top, because it's the same boost value, but now it doesn't get shuffled because I set the encounter card I feel like is safe. I don't want to mess with that. So rewind that. And then my encounter card, I got to add the 4, puts it up to 7. And yeah, now we get the Senator's Support. This kind of hardware isn't found on the black market. Someone high up in the US government must be supplying it. It has hinder 1 per player. So instead of having 3, it's going to have 4 threat. And as long as it's in play, it's going to add 1 boost to each of Chimera's activations. But hopefully this is going to be her last turn. I haven't looked at my hand yet, actually. But I'm hoping I don't have to deal with the Senator's Support at all. But if I do, it's a side scheme, and I'm pretty good at those. So it's going to have 4 threat on it. If I do defeat it, they get to search for an attachment. But let's see what I can do. All right, I think I barely got it. Let's start by playing lock and load. Cost 1. I'm going to pay with an energy from Greymalkin. And it's another player side scheme. Victory 0. Only 2 to defeat. When defeated, each player can search their deck and discard pile for a weapon upgrade that costs 3 or less. I'm going to put that out with 2 on it, but I'm going to thwart it, or I'll change to hero form and then thwart it with Cable for 3, which is 1 more than we needed. So this goes over here into the victory display off camera. There are now 4 cards in the player side scheme, victory display, zone, etc. Cable readies because he defeated a side scheme once per phase, and lock and load lets me search for a weapon. And he just got 3 sidearms in the deck. One of them is actually currently in my hand, so we'll get one of the 2 out of the deck here. It attaches to an ally and gives the ally +1 attack and ranged, which would mean they can avoid retaliate damage, which currently is not an issue at all. I'm going to put that sidearm on Deadpool, so he's now got 3 attack. And because I defeated a side scheme, I also get to ready Greymalkin. Has a response after a side scheme is defeated, ready it, which means I can use Plasma Rifle, use the energy from Greymalkin. This time Plasma Rifle does 4 damage because now I have 4 cards in the victory display, and that puts Chimera down to 11. Deadpool can attack for 3. That'll put her down to 8. Cable can attack for 3. That'll put her down to 5. Ava can deal 1. That puts her at 4. Phantom X can attack for 1. That puts her down to 3. That's the 3rd consequential damage on Phantom X. So thank you for your service. Phantom X and Eva are now discarded. And yeah, like I said, I didn't get any psionic cards, so we're not going to be able to use Scimitar. But with my 5 cards in hand, I will pay 4 of them to play Deathlock. After he enters play, I can choose an upgrade and a discard pile. Basically pull the sidearm I just spent to play him out of my discard pile and attach it to him, bringing his attack from 2 up to 3. And Deathlock can get the killing blow. 3 damage to Chimera, putting her down to 0. If the villain is defeated, the players win the game. And we did it. Victory. Mark each campaign environment in play as earned. So I can now mark Safe House established as earned alongside Team assembled. And let's see our new... Ooh, we got a double header comic book page here. X23 is asking Gray... Is that Gray Crow? Is that his name? Who sent you and what do they want with Hope? I'll never talk. Laura, I will get us answers. That's Psylocke. Psylocke is the next hero pack alongside Angel to be coming out, so probably the next episode of this series will be with Psylocke. Because of my vacation for 3 weeks, the gap between NeXt Evolution and these 2 new hero packs is actually pretty short for me. So yeah, probably jump into Psylocke in the next scenario. Some kind of mind block is keeping me out. If I push him too hard, I could kill him. So Hope comes in. She says, I'll help. Give us your secrets, Harpoon. Oh, that's Harpoon. Sorry. I see, an orphanage, the state home for foundlings. Arrgh! Hope that's enough, says Cable. We'll discuss what you did later. Just now you're going home. Like hell I am. I guess she was using her... So I'm totally not clear on Hope's powers. I think she basically enhances other people's powers or can use them in an enhanced way. So she basically amped up Psylocke's ability to tap in past this barrier and potentially harmed Harpoon, which is why Cable's mad now. We may need Hope to help uncover this plot. Fine. Professor, locate the state home for foundlings and body slide us. As you wish, Nathan. State home for foundlings, Omaha, Nebraska. Team 2 is in the position. At the rear, Team 1, see who's home. Oh, there's Archangel, the other character pack I mentioned, coming out. This place gives me the willies, says Deadpool. Shh. Dom, try the door. And that's a boom! And you thought guard duty was boring, boyo. We earn our pay tonight. And we see the next scenario here is Juggernaut. Look who's snooping around, Tom. So there you go. Next time it'll be Juggernaut. And yeah, I'll probably try out Psylocke against him. Haven't played him before. Haven't played with Psylocke either. She's not even out yet. She's supposed to come out this week as I post this video. So that was Scenario 2, NeXt Evolution. On the Run, Marauders with Chimera against Cable. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and bye.